morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
My name is Alan Honner. I'm a lawyer at the Democracy Fund. We share status with the JCCF and with Citizens for Freedom. Mayor, I think you gave evidence earlier today that Coutts is the only 24-hour border crossing in Alberta. Did I understand that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and about 75 kilometers away from Coutts, there's another border crossing at Del Bonita?
Yes.
Do you know if the border crossing times at Del Bonita were extended during the times of the Coutts protest?
Yes, they were, I believe.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? The hours of the days they were extended?
Oh, I can't give you that without it in front of me, but I don't believe it ever went 24 hours. I know that it was increased considerably. I believe I read a number somewhere that percentage-wise, they saw crossings go up 917% or something like that. So it would have had to have been open a lot more, but I don't have the numbers.
That's fair. Thank you. I'm wondering, before the protesters left on the 15th, and before the, let me actually rephrase this. After the Emergencies Act was invoked, did you speak to any of the protesters before they left?
Not directly, no.
But you told us about rumors on social media, which referred to bank accounts being frozen. Were those social media accounts coming from the protesters?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Well, okay, I'm not going to say 100% somebody could have been faking it, but there were Facebook pages called Coutts Convoy Restart, and I'm not going to name them all, but they were obviously followers or participants of the protest by the content that was posted, by things that they said. And
so these were social media sites where you could sign up and you could make posts regardless of whether or not you were at the protest.
That's correct.
So anybody could have posted those rumors on that site.
Anybody could. They were moderated sites. They would have to get past the administrator, but I don't know. I didn't put them up there.
Okay. Whatever the case is, however, you would agree with me that the reason why the protesters ultimately leave, what you call the straw that broke the camel's back, was the discovery of the weapons, and it was not the rumors about the Emergencies Act.
I think that's correct. I saw an interview with Alex Van Herk that he did the evening of the 14th. It's on YouTube, where he explicitly said that it was the weapons. It wasn't the act, because they'd heard about it, but they were prepared to stay until it, that's in Ottawa, basically, is what his sympathies were.
And Alex Van Herk was one of the spokespeople, or one of the leading people at Coutts among the protesters.
That's correct. He's been charged along with Marco, so I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to talk about it, but.
Okay. We'll move on. My friend from the Government of Canada brought up the Critical Infrastructure Defence Act, and I understand you thought that the RCMP should have used that act against the protesters.
I did. Part of that might have been my misunderstanding of what they were doing. As I said, I wasn't privy to the situation reports that were coming out every day until I saw them the other night. So there was stuff going on, and there possibly are even charges still waiting for people over that act. So
and
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think maybe would you agree with me that the RCMP may have exercised their jurisdiction under that act or their discretion under that act had the protest not ended when it did?
Well, I think they were doing it even as, like, I know that there were violation tickets and so on being issued, and that there possibly are still charges coming. So the process maybe doesn't move as quickly as I would like it to, but I believe they were working under that act, yes.
Okay, and I just want to ask you about that act. Is it your understanding that the act prohibits the willful obstruction of essential infrastructure if that obstruction renders the infrastructure dangerous, useless, inoperative, or ineffective?
Yes.
Okay, and in your view, that was happening in Coutts because of the blockade?
Yes.
And if somebody commits an offense under that act, the police can arrest that person without a warrant. Is that right?
I'm not sure about the without a warrant, but I know they can arrest them.
But you would take it from me that the act says that.
Sure.
There are also fines under the act.
Yes.
And does it accord with your understanding that the fine for a first offense can be no less than $1,000 and can be as much as $10,000?
I've heard that, yes.
And that a fine for a second offense or a third offense can be as high as $25,000?
Sure.
Do you know if any of the protesters at Coutts were driving company vehicles or were parking company vehicles?
I don't know for sure. There might have been some owner operators there. I didn't see any name brand company vehicles parked there.
But some of those trucks could have been owned by corporations.
It's possible.
And it's also under the Critical Infrastructure Defense Act, someone can be fined, a corporation can be fined a minimum of $10,000 for an offense and a maximum of $200,000. Did you know that?
I may have seen those numbers. I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are my questions.
With your support, our lawyers will be in Ottawa for the next few weeks, trying to hold our government accountable for its improper declaration of an emergency. To follow our work in the inquiry, visit thedemocracyfund.ca/commission, and please consider making a tax-deductible donation to help contribute to our fight. We thank you so much for your support.